Hey guys, it's Andy from Estella's Revenge, and I'm here today with the must-read books tag. This was created by Elli from TheBibliophile, and it has taken me an embarrassingly long time to get to this tag. So I'm very glad to finally be doing it. You'll have to excuse me. It's a lazy Sunday afternoon, and I'm just waiting for my son to get home, and I thought, why not do this now? So the first question, name the main ways you discover books to read, and show some books that you have discovered this way. Most of the books that I read, I find from blogging and from BookTube. When I started BookTubing, I had a huge influx of book buying. I had not bought books in a really long time, and I kind of went crazy. And I'm not sad about it because I got some great stuff. But definitely those two ways are probably the ways that I find books most. It also says, show some books that you have discovered this way. Oh, pardon me. I forgot to grab these when I started. So the first book that was influenced by a booktuber is Geek Love by Catherine Dunn. I grabbed this one at Mercedes' recommendation from Mercy's Bookish Musings. I haven't read it yet, but I really want to soon because it's about carnies. And that's pretty cool. It sounds twisted and crazy, and the writing is supposed to be great. I also picked up The Time of My Life by Cecilia Ahern, and this is thanks to Chelsea from Chelsea in a Book. And I'm also currently reading Saga by Brian K. Vaughan that I got at Chelsea's recommendation. Do literary awards influence whether you will read a book or not? I definitely pay attention to literary awards. In particular, I'm really fascinated by the Man Booker. I'm really interested in the Women's Prize for Fiction that used to be the Orange Prize. And I'm mildly interested in the Pulitzer. Maybe more so even in the Tournament of Books, because it's more laid back and it has more variety in the books that are chosen for the Tournament of Books. So if you're not familiar, I will leave the link in the down bar. Do you feel pressure to read books that are considered important works of literature? Only self-pressure. Only because I want to read all the classics and all the well-respected works of literature and see what I think of them. And if I agree with the canon and kind of their good standing. Does the average star rating of a book on Goodreads influence whether you decide to read it or not? Absolutely not. I very rarely pay attention to a Goodreads rating. I am much more likely to look through the list of my friends and fellow Goodreads followers and see what they have rated a book rather than to look at the overall rating. Show some books that you think are underhyped or have low star ratings but which you enjoyed. So because I don't pay really attention to the star ratings, these are two books that are underhyped. First is The Red Garden by Alice Hoffman. This is a selection of short stories that all deal with one house and the garden in particular, and how the people have interacted with it over the years. It makes the short stories a little more cohesive for people who don't really like short stories. And one of my favorite books that I never hear anything about, this is What I Loved by Siri Hustvedt. I just reviewed Oracle Night by Paul Auster, and Siri Hustvedt is his wife. Her fiction is very cerebral, and just very striking. This book in particular starts as kind of a rumination on art, psychology. There are some oral tradition and folktale elements, and then it kind of morphs into this murder mystery. And I just thought this was a beautiful book. It was a great read, and it's one I want to reread soon. Also, show some books on your TBR that have been influenced by either hype, awards, or other ways. So, one book that I picked up as a combination of awards and hype is Possession by A.S. Byatt. I believe it won the Booker. It's also incredibly hyped, and I have a bunch of friends who have loved it. Unfortunately, I did not have good luck with this book. I was unable to complete it, but I think that's largely because I just wasn't in the right frame of mind. I picked up Brain on Fire by Susanna Cahalan. This is a nonfiction book about a writer for the New York Post who has an illness that basically takes her from a high-performing kind of intellectual reporter to a mess. in a month. Like, she completely loses her mind. She's institutionalized, and it's a really slow road to recovery. But this is an incredible book, how she pieces together her life over that month that she was incapacitated. I also picked up Where'd You Go, Bernadette, based on hype, because this was incredibly hyped last year. I really didn't think it was my kind of book, and I did not enjoy Maria Semple, the author's first novel, but this one was so much fun. It looks like chick lit, and I guess to some extent it is, but it's also very sarcastic and very satirical of, like, Silicon Valley and Seattle yuppies and, you know, helicopter moms at private schools and things like that. But it is much more than that. It was a very touching book. It was a very well-written book, and it was just a lot of fun. Then we have The Dangers of Proximal Alphabets by Kathleen Alcott. I came to this one through Mercedes at Mercy's Bookish Musings. It was one of the first books that I bought because of a BookTube recommendation. I did enjoy the writing in this one very much. I think I rated it 3 out of 5 stars, and I need to do a review. And last but not least, still to be read in 2014, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. Incredibly hyped. Everyone I know loves it. And so I need to hurry up and read it. So yeah, thank you to Elli for a wonderful tag. I really enjoyed the must-read books tag, and I hope that you guys will do it as well if you have not already. Have a great weekend. Bye.